Exactly 1 week ago, I made this video saying Dogecoin flash crash warning. And since then, we have seen some interesting movement with Dogecoin up until the point where today we had a major flash crash that was one of the worst in the history of cryptocurrency, and Dogecoin was very negatively affected by this. My prediction came true to a scary degree when it comes to the amount that it fell. Then what happened right after is it did storm back a decent amount, but there's actually more to this than what meets the eye. This is not just a prediction coming true. This is not just something we knew could happen happening. And by the way, I say I predicted it. I didn't know 100%. It's impossible to know 100%. All I did was look at the chart. I looked at the 200-day average specifically as one big indication, and I said, look, it seems like there's a chance that it could fall. I put it at between 40 and 50%, and that is unfortunately what we saw happening. But like I said, there is more to this than what you're seeing. There is actually a little bit of a sinister force, or maybe a lot of a sinister force at play here, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. Dogecoin, one of the worst crashes that we have seen in a long period of time here, going down more than 30% in a single day period at the very, very bottom. Luckily though, we did see it storming back up, and that's exactly what normally happens during crashes. A lot of people though will sell at the bottom, so if you did do that, definitely make sure to learn from that mistake, and you can understand that whenever you see a drop of 30%, or anything like that in a single day, it is extremely unlikely that it'll actually stay down, especially if there is not a major negative news story that causes this, because that's more of a metric type thing, and that really is an area where you can actually use the chart as an indication. This right here is a screenshot from the video I posted 1 week ago, and also, I'm going to talk about the NFTs in a second here. There's some big updates with that, and we're going to talk about that. But here, you can see the 200-day average right there, which is the yellow line. We actually saw cryptocurrency as a whole, and this is through the lens of Bitcoin, going up significantly above that 200-day average. And in the fashion and form that it went up, with a bunch of red candles in a row here, then a bunch of green candles right after, so red, then green, we did see the indication that it was most likely going to come back and meet that yellow line again, because that's what it does. When it goes below the yellow line, it'll likely go back up above it not too long after. When it goes above, it'll likely go back down. You always almost certainly are going to see whatever cryptocurrency you're looking at crossing the 200-day average at some point again, and because of the fashion to which it went above it, that was one of the big reasons we saw the indication on top of a bunch of other metrics. By the way, I'm tracking so many different metrics on Bitcoin and Dogecoin. They don't make your head spin. We're tracking all of them. So this is the place to come. If you're new to the channel, subscribe with notifications on. I will give you the inside scoop. And not just that, I'm also going to try to help you by showing some of the techniques I use to be able to make these same predictions yourself. You don't always need someone else to tell you. You can do it yourself too. And I think that's a great tool that everyone can use, is looking at that. I'm going to be posting links and stuff. And before we get into kind of what happened here, I also want to talk about the NFTs. It went surprisingly well today. We actually had a ton of buy interest right away, and it started to really run with it. So we had thousands and thousands of people coming and going to the site, so much so to the point where even though we actually had the best site in the world when it comes to the bandwidth, the best that was available to us, even despite that, it still had a couple of slowness things at first, but then it started going more smoothly as the process went on. And there was also another thing. So because this is literally the most high quality and the most combinations of any NFT project ever with Dogex, literally no one has come even close. This was over 1,000. The previous one that had the most before that was under 300. So we're talking about a magnitude of 3 times the previous one, and that's huge when it comes to NFTs. A magnitude of 3 is like ridiculousness. And because of that, it's not always going to go perfect. So we did have a glitch with some NFTs, which means if you got an Earth Doge, you're probably most likely going to have a really good experience tomorrow, because the team is working on a solution. If you have one or more Earth Doges, get excited for tomorrow. There's going to be another wave of excitement for these NFTs. And also another thing to keep in mind is that it's literally probably the worst the worst possible time to launch an NFT is when there's a major flash crash happening as you're launching the NFT. But we already had it scheduled for that date. The team has been working so hard. We have so many people involved in this. It's a team of over 50 people that have worked on it at different points in time. Not 50 people at the same time at different points in time, but there's a huge team behind the Dogecoin NFTs. Everyone is going to make sure that everything goes smoothly with the people who did see the glitch. Another thing, make sure to click refresh metadata if you do have the purple looking one showing up, because that's not actually the NFT. That is just a profile picture. So I will make sure, we're going to make sure everyone gets settled here. And no matter what, we will make sure there's a solution here and everything gets fixed. That I can promise you. There's no chance that we do not let anything go unnoticed when it comes to that. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty insane that even during a crash like that, we were still able to get to that much buy pressure. Because, I mean, think about it. What are the chances one of the worst crashes ever happens right as you're doing that? And also on top of that, because of the crash, the ETH gas the gas fees spiked like crazy, which meant the gas fees were really high for a period of time, and that meant a lot of the buy pressure kind of stopped. But we're absolutely going to see it start picking up again after we make sure the glitch is right and make sure everyone is Earth Doge gets that fixed. But here we can see what happens. So stay tuned. I'm going to be tweeting about it. We're going to be keeping you updated. But rest assured, if you got an Earth Doge, you have something exciting coming potentially tomorrow, and well, definitely something exciting coming. But the chances, you still could get an Earth Doge again. But just keep in mind, we have something big planned for that to make sure to fix people who did have the glitch. But 47,163 is the current price of BTC, and you can see this is what it did. We had a major fall in a very short amount of time, going all the way down to around that $43,000 range before then coming back up really fast. So it didn't take long. It was like a hole, and then it went immediately and got filled in with sand and dirt and a bunch of other stuff. What else did it get filled with? Who the heck knows? Maybe some candy wrappers. Maybe we saw a bunch of people coming in and just, filling it up themselves. But basically everyone started buying once it got down to that low, and it didn't take long to go back up again. But since going back up, it has stayed relatively flat around that $47,000 area, which is kind of strange because, you have this much buy pressure, then all of a sudden, boom, it's just silent. And part of the reason for that is because Bitcoin has a massive market cap, and it also has something that was at play here that a lot of people didn't even realize, which is there's the banks that are taking advantage of this situation. Let me go ahead and show you what I mean by that, and then we'll look at what Dogecoin did by comparison. But take a look at this. This is the big thing that I think we have to really expose right now. Let me go ahead and pull up Bitcoin right here. It tumbles 10%. You may or may not know, today was the day that El Salvador decided to implement Bitcoin as the country's currency. The official day, they bought 200 BTC to start out with. They're implementing it. Everything was supposed to go according to plan and go smoothly. And of course, on the day, what are the chances, right? The first time we have a country ever making BTC the legal currency, that happens to be the time when BTC has one of its biggest crashes ever, instantly making the world look at this and say, what the heck happened here? And I'll tell you exactly what happened. There are large banks who are currently pulling some strings behind the scenes and making stuff like this happen. The banks do not want cryptocurrency to take over. Why? They're making a heck ton of money. They're making a lot of money off of people paying these massive exorbitant fees when it comes to the banking systems. They're making a ton of money. Western Union and people like that, when you have to pay those giant fees just to send money overseas and things like that, the massive fees that are just going to these large corporations, they want those to keep coming. Obviously, it's money. Who doesn't want money? You want money. Everyone wants money. Money's good in a lot of ways, but in this way, it's causing the motivation of bad people to do bad things. That's the negative side of money, right? And so they actually all decided to sell right at the same time. The banks who did have crypto, a lot of them sold right at the same time, and we can see that in the chart. We can see that if you actually go and look at the wallets. I'm going to be making more videos kind of showing exactly what I saw and how I was able to piece this together, and why we're so sure that we really cannot trust the metrics as much as we hope we can because of things like this. You have to be prepared for them ahead of time. But we saw them causing the price to absolutely crash extremely fast. The good news is that despite the banks doing that, it did not fall all the way down to some crazy level like 30,000. I bet you the people who are responsible for this, the people within these banks, the people high up in levels of power who are trying to make the price crash for this exact reason, to make a statement that as a country, you can't make this your legal currency, because there's a lot more countries in South America, in Central America, even some countries in Asia. They're looking at doing the same exact thing. They're trying to scare them away from that. Luckily, though, the crypto community is not going to let that happen without putting up a fight, causing it to absolutely storm back like crazy from that bottom there, and actually holding pretty dang strong, all things considered. I mean, yes, this was a bad day by far for cryptocurrency, but it could have been significantly worse considering the circumstances. It could have been so much worse, in fact, that it would have made our heads spin around and around and around and around until they took off and went all the way somewhere else. But look at that, there's lightning out the window too. I don't know, should I show, let's show them out the window.
Okay, show them out the window.
Look at that. So that's what so the office actually has a window right there. I don't know, can you see out it? Maybe not, but there's a lightning storm happening, and it's pretty dang beautiful. But I'm a huge fan of the setup we have here. Some big things are coming with this. Rest assured, we do have big plans for the future. This is going to become one of the largest media conglomerates in the entire country. That is, of course, the plan. It takes a lot of things going right for that to happen, but we are going to be making huge strides with that. Once again, if you're interested in coming to be part of Final Stand, all you gotta do, comment down below, say you're interested, send us an email, send us a message, and we are going to be trying to find a great team to put together to really help us go into this next level. But here's what happened with Dogecoin. A little bit of a different picture. In fact, quite a different picture compared to BTC. After falling all the way down significantly more than BTC did at the bottom there, all the way down to around 21 cents from being at 32 cents. So this is one of the worst flash crashes for Dogecoin. And I was telling you guys this could happen, so be careful for it. But despite the fact that I said it could happen, I was still hoping that it would not happen. I was hoping that it was just going to be something where it looks like it, but we don't see it. Unfortunately, it did happen. Luckily though, it has since stormed back a decent amount. And we have actually seen a big difference here in that Dogecoin is actually still continuing to go up after this crash and then after it came back up. You saw the Bitcoin chart. We can see it again. Look, it's flat. After going back up, it's flat. It hasn't done hardly anything. Dogecoin, on the other hand, continuing to kind of make a little bit of a run. But despite that, that doesn't change the fact that Dogecoin overall has actually fallen still a little bit more than BTC at approximately 15% for Dogecoin. So it's not all out of the woods. It's not all hunky-dory and good. In fact, the exact opposite of that. It's a big crash, and altogether, Ethereum as well down 13%, which actually is close to Dogecoin, which is now at 17% down. So a little bit more of a drop since we've been live. And we're going to continue to monitor this. Make sure that you have those notifications on, because if we do see any type of floor falling out, or if we see the exact opposite of that, because it's kind of, I mean, the way this works is one news story can immediately shift the narrative. And so we can do our best to predict what's going to happen using the charts. We can do our best to predict to some degree what is going to happen that way, but we cannot 100% know, because news can always change that. And you absolutely cannot, under any circumstances, know for sure what the news is going to have in store for you. But today I picked up Doge at 21 cents, but sadly only 200. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'm interested. Please contact me. Great to see you keeping everyone calm after the dip from MQF. Calm to some degree, but at the same time, I mean, if you want to let it scream out, go ahead. You can be like, ah, or something along those lines. Just put a little scream out there. I mean, it fell. We got to ride the roller coaster down. Give a scream. I mean, it's bad. It's not something we want to see. We knew it had a chance, a decently high chance compared to the average normal charts. Someone's gonna make a meme of that. Someone make a meme of that. Matt needs to become a meme. 40 cents this week, coming in from BIGK33D. I think we're absolutely, I mean, this is the thing. And we said this even in my video where I predicted the crash was most likely going to happen soon, or not most likely, 40 to 50% chance. It's not most likely, but the video where I predicted that there's a chance we could see this in the near future here. I also said one other thing, which is very important, and everyone should continue to hold on to this, which is that Dogecoin actually does require, to some degree, movement like this in the downward direction first before we can actually see that next major run, because you have to have FOMO. You have to have an accumulation period where people start to buy in and then it starts to go up more, and people start to buy in and it starts to go up more, and then all of a sudden, boom, now it's starting to take off. You cannot have that without something like this, which causes it to go down, because otherwise it's just going to remain relatively flat. So we do have to have some movement like this if we want to see that Dogecoin massive spike within this year. And otherwise, it was most likely still going to happen inevitably when we did see the Dogex launch, and with the satellites, and when we did see the other big launches when it comes to Elon Musk putting Dogecoin on the moon and all of that. So that is another thing to keep in mind. But it still is nice to know that we now are even in better positions in some ways, but also in worse positions than others. We're not gonna like put icing on the cake of badness here, but there is some icing. It's just a little bit of icing though, unfortunately. How is that? Oh, who is that behind you? That is that. Do you want to say hi, Diana?
Hello, hi.
She has her bunny ears all set for the Final Stand show, but yeah, we definitely, everyone's saying in the comments we want to see Diana in more videos. So look at that, she's right there. She's right there. When in doubt, zoom out in the chart. That's true as well. I mean, we have been talking about Dogecoin since less than half a penny. So since then, obviously it's done well, but that doesn't mean that the people who got it now, I mean, it's still bad. If you got it now, if you put your money now, you're like, I shouldn't. Yeah, I guess schlucks. There we go. Schlucks. Schlucks. It still went down. Yeah, I gotta be careful. YouTube will get mad at me if I'm not careful. One other thing to keep in mind: Solana doing surprisingly well in the face of this. It actually, believe it or not, brace yourself for this. Solana went up today. It went up. That's right. It went up approximately 2% today, which is pretty wild that even in the face of this, Solana was not 1%. So, okay, 1.41%. Solana right now is going through a really, really weird thing, which is that it is going through a spike crash. Yeah, you heard me right. A spike crash, which is basically where there was a ton of energy building around it. And so it was starting to spike as the crash was happening, which basically means you have the spike going this way, you have the crash going this way, and then boom, they make a spike crash, baby. And that's what happened. It went up 2%, even though every other crypto fell more than 10% at the top. There was one other exception to this. If we scroll down here, we can see there's actually a crypto that went up 41% today. 41% in the face of this. There's an entire sea of red, so red in fact, you could probably go and lay on it and float. Hopefully you get that reference there, but so red in fact you can do that, and yet 35.94% today. It's called Near Protocol, NEAR, and so I just want to give a shout out to Near Protocol. Impressive work. I don't know how you did it, buddy, but somehow you were able to not only survive this, but thrive during it. I mean, as you scroll down, you can see every other one pretty much is red. There's a couple exceptions of like 5%, but no way in the world are you supposed to see a crypto going up 40% during something like this. There's something special for sure about Near Protocol, and I'll be honest, I don't know too much about it. It's a relatively new crypto in terms of being at the top there, but I'm going to do research on it. Right as I was about to go live, I noticed that, and I thought, what the heck? What's the deal? Well, what are you doing there? Doggy ears, OMG merchandise. Oh yeah, do we have to start selling those now? That'll be good. No, I don't know.
Get Doge ears.
Oh, Doge ears?
Doge ears for me, Matt.
Yeah, I think we have to get Dinah some Doge ears instead.
That'd be cute.
Yeah, come on. This is final. This is final stand. How in the world are we having bunny ears, Dinah? This is a huge catastrophe. The biggest disaster in final stand history that we did not have Doge ears, unfortunately. Hi, your project Dogex. Oh yes, so there's that. Yeah, so someone actually made a really inappropriate version of Dogex making fun of me. They put a lot of effort into it, actually. I was impressed. I thought it was a pretty good job they did. Can we call you Maddie McWallace? If you want to, you can go ahead. Yeah, we've been hearing some sirens in the background too. But luckily the gas fee I paid was only $65. 20 minutes later it was $165. Yeah, it went up. It was up as high as $8,000. $8,000 for some freaking gas. That's worse than the oil catastrophe of 2008. That's pretty dang bad. Gas fees for Ethereum, I mean, they skyrocketed insane amounts today. People are seeing above $1,000 for just simply doing a transaction, which means if you buy an NFT that's worth between $300 and $400, you have to pay $1,000 for the gas fee. That was part of the time today, and that was actually when Dogecoin was building some of its biggest momentum. That happened. Luckily, though, we still have literally the greatest NFT project in history when it comes to the Ionic combinations. This is still top of the line, top quality. Every single NFT, regardless of which one, is top of the line, top quality. So we do know there's big things coming. The metaverse, everything's expanding. We're making partnerships. So there's a lot of big things coming with that. By no means is it anywhere near halted permanently from this, but there was a little bit of a, oh my gosh, that's kind of crazy. Why in the world did it happen that way on this day? But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is.
We minted 3 Doge X today. They want to know.
Oh yeah, how many did we mint? We minted 3, and so that was fun. But I love my Dogex NFTs from Sadia Slay. Sadia Slay coming in and saying you love your Dogex NFTs. I saw your tweet as well. And then we're also seeing a number of other interesting stories coming out, including this one. So Cathie Wood actually came out and said Bitcoin is the future, despite the billionaire haters. And not the best timing. So Cathie Wood made this article, or made the statement, and the article came out earlier today, but it happened to be literally only a short period of time before the flash crash happened. So sorry, Cathie, bad timing for that. But the truth is, she's actually right. Cathie Wood, ARK Invest, one of the biggest investment people in the entire world. She's definitely someone who knows what she's doing in a lot of ways when it comes to cryptocurrency, especially. But the reason why she's saying this is the future is simply because she understands the advantages to it. She understands how you can get away from exorbitant fees. She understands this is going to be the bank taker-outer. The taker-outer of the banks. And nice. So Sebastian says he just subscribed. So nice. Or he subscribed to her, not to me. He's already subscribed to me. He's been subscribed for a while. Tell us more about the NFT, how to sell. Okay, yes. So we're also, another thing is a lot of us, a lot of people who have been doing the Dogecoin launch and participating, you may be wondering, well, how the heck do I sell? How do I do this? How do I do that? And we're going to be making videos. If you don't know, there's already videos on YouTube. We can figure that out. But keep in mind, if you do currently have an Earth Doge, there's something big coming tomorrow. So maybe just be a little bit patient ahead of that. But if you do want to sell, there are easy ways to do that. You can do it through OpenSea. We're going to make sure everyone has an opportunity. It's not like we're not going going to leave anyone out on a limb here. I will make sure everything is right with this. Anyone who did have the glitch, you will get it made right for you. Don't worry, we'll make sure of that. But gas is so high. Yes, that's true. T-King as well is reimbursing the gas fee for anyone who buys over 0.2 ETH through Uniswap. So T-King's doing that. T-King still has a lot of potential, and I'm excited about that as well. But T-King did go through some of this today as well. But so Doge XXX is minting. Can someone share? Oh no, not that. It's the other one. But that's what I thought to LMAO. Oh, there's a sound again. I don't know. Can you open up the window?
Okay. Someone wants you to play a song, a Doge.
Oh, play a song?
Doge on the rise.
See, you hear that?
Oh, it just stopped.
I don't know. You probably heard it for a second.
I think it's a tornado warning.
Maybe. It might be. I think it probably is. But it's been doing that a couple of times. I don't know. And some of these comments are great. Fetch AI Green also... Yeah, Coinbase as well had some mistakes happen with them. They posted about that. Coinbase having some issues during this because of the massive amount of traffic, which I guess does make some sense. But they need to fix their stuff. They need to get their stuff together. And don't worry, a lot of big things are coming for crypto. I mean, as much as it is disappointing to see this, we did know it had a decent chance of happening ahead of time, and so a lot of us prepared for that. Did I sell any of my Dogecoin? Absolutely not. I'm not going to do that because I still believe in it for the future, and I used to in the past trade Doge. I would sell at certain points and then buy back in to make money, and I made a lot of money doing that. But then I realized, well, I love Doge so much, let me just continue to hold. Instead of doing that, I would do that with other cryptos. So now I'm doing it with a heck of a lot of other cryptos and making money there while also just holding my Doge, which makes sense because we just how can you sell the cute little dog? How can you do it? You can't do it. You can't do it to the dog. Well, you can, but
we can.
It's hard. It's hard.
Keep the cute little dog.
Exactly. You want to keep the cute little dog. Exactly. But anyway, I'm Matt Voss. This is Final Stand, and I will see you in the next video.